Hello everybody, I'm Linda with Gotta Be Handmade. I'm the old bird. Today I'm making my holiday crafts for myself and I thought I would share this with you. This is an old craft and I thought that the grandparents would enjoy making this with the grandkids. Now I'm Linda with Gotta Be Handmade. I bring attention to handmade artists through my social media platforms. I hope you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Gotta Be Handmade. I hope you will also become a part of the group that I started to sell handmade items live directly from the artists themselves on Facebook at Gotta Be Handmade Live. Now let's get started on this little craft. This is garland. I'm sure all of you old schoolers like myself have made this before. Let me share with you what you'll need. Now we're in my studio, so overlook everything and you'll see what I'm saying. This is a wonderful craft project for you and the grandkids. You'll enjoy it, and even you can teach their parents how to make it. Now you need very few things to create this garland. I'm using these index cards. Now I'm not certain the size of these. I keep stacks and stacks of these. So let's measure and I'll know exactly the size, and so will you. These are 4 by 6 index cards, and they are the ones that are unruled, so you don't have the lines on them. Forgive the shadows, but these are the ones that I keep stacks of, and they come in so handy to make craft projects. Now for this craft project, I sketched a template, and I'm going to share the template with you on the page. I'll place the template and you will just print it out, and remember it's the size of these 4 by 6 index cards. Now you know I have to write things down to remember, so it's a 4 by 6 index card. That's going to be the size of the templates. Now let me show you what I did. I just created a paper doll. This is the boy that I started with. And this one is the girl that I started with. And I said maybe this would be a bit complicated to cut out if you have small grandchildren that are younger and they would not be able to cut the braids out. So I made this simple girl that doesn't have the braids, and on the boy I made this simple boy on this side that doesn't have the shoes. Now there are variations to this garland. You can use this template and create one that is a gingerbread man. And I'm going to tell you why I have this little tree. Now all 3 of these templates I'm going to place in the feed, and you'll be able to print them out and you'll be able to cut them out yourselves with your grandchildren. Now let me share with you what they look like when they are cut out. This one is the little girl with the braids. This is the one that I started with. Let me see. There you go. You can see it better. This is the one that I started with. Now you see, this would be for an older grandchild or child, because you have to maneuver around to cut the shoes. You have to maneuver to cut the braids. And there's just a little bit of a curve here to create her skirt. So an older grandchild would be the one that you would use to create this one, and they would be able to manipulate the scissors to cut her out. This is the boy. Now this one is for an older child. This is the older child template because of the shoe. You see the shoe? You have to come around and you have to come out for the leg of the pant. So a little bit older grandchild would be able to cut this template. Now because I knew that template was for an older child, I created this one that I shared with you. And you see it's just straight lines to cut her. Just straight, straight, straight down for the leg. You have to go around to create the head, and straight lines for the arms. And then this is the one for the younger grandchild, boy. Just straight lines that you have to cut. Just like that. And you have to go around to create the head. This is the template for the gingerbread man. And it's relatively simple. And the reason that I have this paper bag is because you can use paper bags to cut the gingerbread man, and it will be in a brown color. The larger the paper bag, the more you will be able to have when you cut them out. This one appears to be the size that maybe you can squeeze 3, maybe possibly 4. Now let me show you how we're going to do them. You've done this numerous times, and I know you have. When you finish, you're going to unfold them, and they will be connected to create your garland just like that. Now that's the Christmas tree. But let me show you how you get started. The first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need your template. Whichever template that you choose, that's what you're going to need. You're also going to need a pencil because we're going to trace around the template before we cut it out. Then you're going to need some scissors. Now, these are the ones that I was using. They are horrible. These are my everything scissors. I cut everything that's not important out of these scissors. And these are some that's a bit sharper, and they really get in close because they are so sharp, and they have this wonderful sharp edge. It is just like a razor. Now, the reason that I have these two is because if you have small children, you're going to be using children's scissors. Children's scissors are not that sharp. They are about as sharp as these, and they have the rounded edge where they don't have to worry about getting stuck or hurting themselves with the scissors. So you're going to be using children's scissors, so that's why I have these. They're not very sharp. But if you're going to create this project for yourself, then you can use a very sharp pair of scissors that you're going to use on paper. Now, this is what I'm using. This is copy paper, and it is 17 inches long, and I believe it is 11 inches. Oh, excuse me. I dropped the yardstick. Let me measure it. No, it's 10.5 inches wide, not 11. 10.5 by 17 copy paper. Now, this is a good length. If you've never done this project, this is great because you get enough for it to be a real surprise to your grandchildren. And you're going to love this length. So, let me show you what you do. Now, I measured the template. So, I know that you're going to have to fold your paper exactly 3 inches. Now, let me show you. This is all you do. You fold it just like you're folding a fan. You remember the fans, how you go this way, and then you flip it over, and then you go this way. Well, it's the same with this. The only difference is, let me move this. The only difference, you have to be kind of exact and make this exactly 3 inches. 3 inches is for my template that I have. Now I have my yardstick, and I'm going to measure the 3 inches. I don't know if you can see it or not. And I have the radio on because I love listening to the radio while I'm crafting. There it is. It's exactly 3 inches. I hope you can see it. 3 inches is down here, and that's where my fold is. Now I'm going to fold this, and this is the only time that it's going to have to be a bit accurate. And you press that fold down. Now they do have folders, and I have one, but naturally I don't know where it is right now. You know how that is. I don't know where it is. But it's a little thing that's called a folder, and it's plastic, and you take it and you press it down all the way down that edge to make certain that you have a crisp fold in your paper. I just did it with the scissors, and so can you. Flip your paper over, and you're going to try to get that exact. Right there, that's it, on my 3 inches. And you're going to press that down, all the way down, and make certain all the way that you have a crisp edge on your fold. And get it as accurate as you can, the 3 inches, just like that, and come down that fold. Okay, now you're going to flip this back over, and then you're going to bring this back, just like you did those fans. You know those fans, we've made millions of them. And you're going to press that down, just like that. Since we moved to South Carolina from Washington, D.C., I enjoy listening to my old radio stations that I used to listen to when I was living in the district. And today I'm listening to Donnie Simpson on the radio, and I'm enjoying the music. Now make sure you press it down, get a crisp fold. And we got one more time we can fold it over. And I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to try to get it right on those other folds. Press down. Now let me get this in. And we know that each of those are 3 inches exactly because we've measured them. And you see, there you go. All of them are right there together on that fold. And if you turn it around, you see all of these are right there. If you open it up, you'll see that fan that we used to make. You see? Now this is going to give us 5. Let me see if I can get it to open and stay open. You're going to have one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And we're going to cut off this piece here because it's not wide enough to give us the 3 inches. So it's just a part that we just cut off and discard. So you take your scissors, and your grandchild can do this with you, or you can cut this off. It's up to you. And enjoy doing this together. And while you're crafting with your grandchildren, tell them about your life. Tell them about yourself. They'll enjoy it. It'll give you and your grandchildren some special time together, memories that are priceless. There you go. Now, this is what you end up with. Now, let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to take my cutting board and I'm going to put it right there. And then you get your pattern, whichever one you choose to use. I'm going to take the little girl. That's the easy little girl. And you put her feet right at the bottom. You see right here? Right at the bottom on that line. And then you're going to take your pencil and you're going to trace around the template. Trace around the template. And this is great. You can hold it and your grandchild can trace the template. Or you can trace one and your grandchild can trace one. That's why I did a little girl and I did a little boy. You can do this with your grandson or your granddaughter. Just like that, you're going to trace all the way around with the pencil. And then when you remove it, you see, you have your cutting lines right there. Right there. I don't know where that shadow is coming from. I have the window open and my mom's sewing machine is over there beside me, so maybe that's where it is. But I think you can see it. Now look, with this one, I have the little girl here, and if you like, you can put another little girl here or a little boy, and that will give you two. Now I have one where I've already done that. That's the little girl on that end, and that's the little boy on this end. Now if you notice in the center, there's an area that we can use, but the little boy and little girl are too tall to trace there. You see, they are too tall. So what I did was, I created this Christmas tree. Let me see. Let me put it on here. And then you can see that will fit right in that spot. And you can create a garland from the Christmas tree. Now let's cut out the little boy. Now when you're cutting, you're going to be using your grandchildren's scissors so they won't hurt themselves. And you try to cut right on that line. And I don't know if you are aware of it or not, but when you're cutting paper, you move the paper and don't move your scissors. Rotate the paper, not your scissors, and you'll get a much smoother line. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to cut off the side. Let me do that. Let me cut off this excess that we're not going to use. Just cut that right off, just like that. We did that one, but I didn't do this one. Okay, discard that. There's the little boy coming up on his arm. And you just try to stay as close on that line as possible. And you're going to rotate your paper. There you go. We're getting the neck. And we're coming on with the head. Coming on around. Coming on around. I just love making these old-fashioned crafts for the holidays. And if you like, join me again. I have one that I'm sure you and the grandchildren will love to make. I'm going to string popcorn. Yes, I am. Have you ever done that? At my elementary school, one of them that I attended, they had these hedges that had these beautiful red berries. And I told my mom, oh, I want to string those for the Christmas tree. And my mother said, no, you don't. I said, oh, yes. She said, no. I said, yes. She said, Linda, you don't want to do that. I said, Ma, I want to do it, please. And my mother said, okay, you take this and you pick the berries. I picked a big bowl of berries, and it took forever, but I enjoyed every bit of it. Now look, this is the surprise that always gets to me. Opening up the paper dolls. You see, that's your garland. You have 5 little boys on the garland. You see? Now, let me show you. On this part, in the center, you had the little girl, and this is where we just cut out the little boy. You can easily fit the Christmas tree right here. And you do the same thing. You trace it with the pencil, and I'm going to show you that you have plenty of space to add this. It shifted just a little. Now you can use some removable tape if you prefer on your template, and you can tape it down and it won't shift. If you have very young grandchildren, maybe that would be the best. And then trace the template, and when you remove it, there won't be any residue from the tape. You see, there's the Christmas tree. It fits right in that area because I drew it the exact size that would fit, and you won't waste that paper. And you do the same thing. Now I'll use these scissors to show you. You do the same thing. You cut as close or on that line. Cut right on that line. And there, scissors will be able to cut through all of these layers with no problem. And you cut. And if you notice, the Christmas tree, the last tier of the Christmas tree hangs off just ever so slightly, so it will be attached when you cut it out. And you come up to the top, and you're making that point. And remember, don't move your scissors. Move what you're cutting. And you cut. I'm going to cut that off. And we're going to get right here. And we'll cut this. And rotate it around. Not your scissors. Come on around, making certain now to keep the tree attached on the ends, so when you open it up, you'll get that wonderful surprise. There we go. Now you see, the little girl is still there, and here's the surprise. It does it to me every time. There we go. There we go. There it is. There's the garland. Now that's the Christmas tree. Now let me show you. Let me take you over to my Christmas tree. You've got to see them on the Christmas tree. Now let me get up. Let me get my phone. and let me take you to my tree. I have a little Christmas tree in my office. And I put the garland on the Christmas tree. I just love it. Let me go around the lamp. Come on with me. You'll see it. That behind me. See, that's my desk. That's where we were. Now look. See? Let me back up. There's my little tree. And that's the little girl. And that's the little boy. Now let me plug it up. You see? This is the little girl. And that's the little boy. Now I hung mine on an angle. You can hang yours around like that, straight across. It's up to you. Now let me turn on the lights. This little Christmas tree, every ornament on it is made from a real egg. That's one. This little basket is one. Oh, look. This one is a real egg. And I don't know if can you see this? That's a real egg. That's a basket. So every ornament on this tree is made from a real egg. And that's the Paper Doll Garland. Let me back up. And you can see the entire tree. There you go. Now look. This is a wonderful project for you and the grandkids. I hope you will give it a try. I hope you'll make these. You'll enjoy it. And the memories that you'll build with your grandchildren will last forever. Please, come over. Join me on Gotta Be Handmade Live, where I interview handmade artists. As a matter of fact, tonight, I think at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be interviewing a young lady who creates fabulous handmade things. Join me at Gotta Be Handmade Live right here on Facebook. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gotta Be Handmade. Because you know, for the best, it's just gotta be handmade. Bye-bye, and thank you for joining me.